Hello and welcome to day one of our yin challenge. So over the next 5 days, we're going to be focusing on different poses to really open up the body and get that deep stretch. Okay, we're going to be working on forward folds, back bends and hip openings, which are the main areas of the body that you need to open to become flexible overall. So we're going to start in our first pose, which is a forward fold. Now feel free to use any props during this challenge. So I'm going to start with our heels about hips distance, maybe a little bit wider. Lengthen up through the spine. We're going to inhale, bring the hands up, and then exhale, fold forward and relax as much as you can here. Now, as you're in your first pose, I'm going to explain a little bit more about how we do yin yoga, okay? Now, before I explain, actually, if you have any props, if you have pillows, yoga blocks, a bolster, you can put that in front of you and lean over it because that's going to take off some of the pressure. Now in yin yoga, we want to go to about 70% of our stretch, okay? We're folding, we're feeling that stretch, but we're not pushing it. We're trying to relax into the stretch, okay? Yin yoga is all about finding the comfort within the discomfort, okay? So you find that uncomfortable position and then you relax a little bit into it. Now when you find that position, we're going to take really long inhales and exhales, okay? The longer exhale we take, the more the body relaxes and the more that muscle can lengthen, okay? If you imagine over time, you're stretching, taking your time with it, okay? Now what happens if you go to a deep stretch right away? You pull it really hard, your muscle stretches too much, too fast, and that's when injuries can happen. So let's focus on that slight stretch, okay? Don't push it, and relax into it. Let's take a couple breaths here. I know I'm talking quite a bit through this first pose. I will slow it down for the rest of the challenge and after the next two. But also here, we're trying to find some stillness as well, okay? So go to that stretch, relax into it, find some stillness, try to relax into the stillness. If you find that it's really difficult to keep your mind on your breath and on your body, you just have to keep trying to pull it back, okay? Keep trying to focus on that breath. Keep trying to focus on relaxing the body. Every time your mind wanders off and you think about something else, bring it back in. Use your breath as an anchor and keep focusing in on that breath. So we do tend to hold yin yoga poses normally between 2 to 7 minutes. And you might find after a minute or two, maybe your body can go a little bit deeper, okay? We're always bringing our mind back to our body and noticing how it feels. So maybe once you've been in this pose for a second, or a minute or two, not a second, but a minute or two, you'll notice that that 70% stretch has lessened, okay? So you might have to push yourself a little bit further to go to that 70%. It doesn't matter how low down you get. Everyone's going to be different. This is the beauty of practicing at home, is you don't compare. And then very slowly walk yourself back up, take it nice and slow. We're always going to be coming out of these poses nice and slow as well because we are holding them for a little while. Maybe just bounce the knees up and down, kind of shaking that out a little. And then let's bring the soles of the feet together, knees wide. Now again here, I'm doing this one without props. You're either going to grab your ankles or you can clasp your fingers around your toes, as long as you can lengthen through the spine to start with, okay? If this feels a lot on your hips and your legs, you can also place blocks or rolled up cushions or blankets underneath the knees for a little bit of extra support, okay? Remember, we're finding that slight stretch and relaxing into it. Now, the closer your feet are, the more of a stretch you're going to feel. So if it feels too much, bring your feet out a little bit further. Inhale to lengthen, and then exhale, we're going to fold forward. You can round through the back. You can even place a bolster either on your feet or in front of your feet to rest your head on, okay? And then let's take a couple of breaths here. By a couple, I mean we're going to be relaxing here for a couple of minutes. So let's focus in on that breath. Find that comfort within that discomfort and feel the stretch. Make sure that you're softening everything down. So soften those shoulders, the jaw. And then slowly bring yourself back up. And we're going to make our way down onto our bucks. Now, before we do that, this pose I would like you to grab a prop. Now, I'm going to be using a yoga block. But if you don't have a yoga block, you can use a blanket rolled up or a couple of cushions. We want something that's just about kind of 3 inches tall. So I'm going to roll down onto our backs. I'm going to place the heels quite close towards the bum. Lift up into bridge pose, so you're lifting your hips up off the ground. Then place your block underneath your bum, kind of like the top of your bum, your low spine. Wiggle side to side, just so that you can make sure that your tailbone is directly on the prop that you've got. And we're gonna relax here, just opening up the front of the hips slightly. Now, this pose is gonna completely depend on your flexibility. You can stay here, you can take the legs out long, heels stay down on the ground, maybe grab hold of your left wrist and bring your arms up over your head, kind of banana shaping the body. Now, if you're feeling something here, stay here. If you do want a tiny bit more, you can heighten the prop, okay? So you can bring it up if you're on a yoga block, to the next level. I wouldn't recommend the highest, but the second highest, which is maybe about 5 or 6 inches. And again, find that space where it's the top of your bum, low spine, and relax here. Okay, so using your intuition and listening into your body. Yin yoga, it's all about trying to listen within and figuring out you. Find your place. If you are on cushions, you could roll them up, you could stack them. You know, just grab anything that's around, anything that's comfortable to place your hips upon. And then take your variation. And let's take a few minutes here. Remember to use your breath as an anchor. Keep bringing your attention back within. And try to soften everything down. And then when you're ready, you can bring your hands down if you had them up. Take those feet back in, bend those knees. You might find a little bit of resistance, so let's lift the hips up. Remove your prop, come flat onto the ground. Just take a moment here, just lengthening out the spine. Maybe just knocking your knees from left to right slightly. Hug those knees in. Grab behind the thighs, gently rock back and forward until you come up to seated. And that's us done for today. Thank you so much for joining me. I would love to know your thoughts about this class. Give me a comment below. If you haven't done so already, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up button. That's really going to help to get me seen on YouTube. And what this will also do, it means I can stop ads in the middle of classes. So please help me by sharing this class, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 2.